What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're here for our NXT review for June 26, 2019, as we are on the road to NXT TakeOver Toronto #2, which is going to be, of course, SummerSlam weekend. This was the first match, the first opening round of the breakout tournament, where we had Joaquin Wilde versus Angel Garza. But tonight's main event was Io Shirai versus Shayna Baszler in a steel cage match. You want to know what's sad, though? Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston had a steel cage match this past Sunday. Two fine workers can put on a great match. What they did last night was leagues better, especially that third fall in the 2 out of 3 falls match, was leagues better than anything they did on Sunday. They could not hold a candle to what Shayna Baszler and Io Shirai and everyone else involved in that match did in that match. That match was fantastic. That was a great main event and was worthy of a main event and another takeover. If they wanted to hold this match off until we got to TakeOver Toronto, I would have been fine with that. But they had it tonight. Awesome match. And I did put a poll out on my Twitter account. It's not too many votes because I'm not that popular. But I asked who had the better cage match: Kofi slash Ziggler, Kofi slash Dolph, or Dolph slash Kofi, or Io slash Shayna. As of right now, Shayna Baszler and Io Shirai are winning the poll by 3 votes because that's all I've had right now. This match was just fantastic. But before we get to NXT tonight, there was a news report that came out that Evolve's 10th anniversary show is going to be airing live on the WWE Network on July 13th, 2019. Why is that date a big deal? First off, July 14th, 2019 is Extreme Rules. But the night before is All Elite Wrestling's Fight for the Fallen. It's going to be a charity event because most of the proceeds of that event are going to go to get victims of gun violence, like the Madden shooting that happened, I believe, last year, where some dickhead decided, I suck at this game, but I want to improve my points, so I'm going to take a gun and I'm going to go to this tournament where I'm getting my ass kicked and shoot 2 of my rivals down, and then kill myself because of my mental problems. Just lost Etika, by the way, who was a YouTuber. I didn't know the guy at all, but he had mental problems as well. If you are having mental problems in your life, you need to contact somebody. There are many, many, many things that you can do to help somebody. If you know somebody with mental awareness, talk to police, talk to somebody to get them help. But that is what that show is going to be about, is victims of gun violence. I know there were other things in Jacksonville. I have a feeling this is something we might see every year, maybe not at the same time every year. That's what we're going to get. So instead of getting a takeover next to a WWE pay-per-view, we're getting an Evolve next to the Evolve 10-year anniversary next to Extreme Rules. Kenny Omega put out a tweet bashing WWE for the Saudi money, saying something about something about blood money. I don't have the tweet in front of me, I apologize, but he's talking about blood, if it's okay with you accepting blood money. I know competition is supposed to bring down the best of us all, but I think I'm going to get sick. People blew that up, and he's like, it wasn't about the fans or anybody in there. It was a shot at the guys, Vince McMahon and corporate, who are going out in Saudi Arabia and accepting blood money for their show. This makes WWE look desperate. They need people. They want to get eyes off of AEW and onto their show, which it's not even their show. Yes, Adam Cole is going to be there defending the NXT Championship. You're going to have Drew Gulak versus Matt Riddle, I believe, again. Not for the Cruiserweight Championship, but having that match. You're going to have a couple other NXT superstars on this show. So it's an Evolve 10th year anniversary, but it feels like it's a mini NXT takeover, because you have so many NXT superstars there. So WWE definitely desperate to keep people from watching AEW, and they can't just throw the takeover out there, because we just had a takeover at the beginning of this month, and it would just even make it even worse. So that is going on. Of course, I don't really pay attention to Evolve, and if there's anything storyline driven, I'm not going to be watching Evolve. I'm going to be watching Fight for the Fallen. But now, NXT is getting ready for TakeOver Toronto 2, going back up to the Great White North where, of course, the Raptors just won the NBA championship and could possibly keep have themselves a nice run of championships if things go right for them. But tonight we have Joaquin Wilde versus Angel Garza to start the show off. This was a fun match. This is, of course, a breakout tournament to people that maybe indie wrestling fans know, but not like the NXT or casual fans will know much of. Of course, I know who Joaquin Wilde is under DJ Z or Zima Ion from Impact Wrestling. Never seen Garza Jr., aka Angel Garza, until this match. Good match for these guys. I honestly thought that DJ Z was going to win this one, or Joaquin Wilde was going to win this one. He does this thing where he used to do this, which was a Z, something like he does like this, yeah, for a Z, and now he like spreads his hands out and then goes boom, boom. For his thing, he looked like he literally dressed up as a cosplay Predator that had lights all around him. And I'm thinking, yeah, we already have one of those on main roster TV. His name is Mustafa Ali. He has that mask and the light up thing. I mean, more than one person can do it, but it is what it is. Angel Garza came out with Mexican flag tights on. Of course, he ripped those off later to have the traditional wrestling tights on underneath, which got a woo-woo from women in the crowd. Let's see here. Back and forth counter. Wilde gets the best of Garza early on. Back and forth counters lead to a stalemate. Garza looks for a handshake as they're going for this, but it was all a ruse as he pops Wilde in the face with a thrust. He was down on his knees and was like, had his hand out. He had his hand out for a shake, and then pop right to the face. It's a springboard arm drag. Garza looks for a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, but Wilde counters, splashing him down. I thought that was an awesome transition. Just going for the tilt-a-whirl, and next thing you know, you're on your back. Wilde with a Hurricane Rana attempt, but Garza just splats him down on the mat. But there was a reverse power bomb. Wilde is popped up in the air to kick to the head, knee to the face. Garza does his signature tearaway pants spot and the solid pop. Wilde gets shoved in the corner, knees to the midsection. Garza flips Wilde in the air and drops him to the mat. Goes for the cocky cover, 2 count. Mado said, "I can't." He probably that could have cost him the match because he was just getting cocky with his pins. Garza with a big chop. Wilde turns fire. Garza hits a drop kick cover, 2 counts. Wilder looks to get in some offense. Garza fights him off. Wilder with a pounce. Inverted atomic drop, double knees to the face. Pin for 2. Garza out on the floor. Garza moves back and Garza moves. Wilde with a suicide dive through the corner area of the ring. Back in the ring. Wilde heads to the top. Garza catches him with a kick. He heads up both on top of the turnbuckle. Spanish fly on Wilde for a 2 count. Beautiful spot. I know it gets overdone, I think, a lot because we have the cruiserweights, we have Charlotte do it, and we have one here. But the Spanish fly, when done correctly, is one of the most beautiful spots in all of professional wrestling, not just WWE. All of professional wrestling / if you want to say that, sports entertainment. Just beautiful. Garza cannot believe he did not get the win there. Arnold tries to roll him up. The 2, Garza kicks him in the face, hooks him into a butterfly stunner for the 1, 2, 3. Angel Garza will move on to the next round. Next week will be formerly known as Shane Strickland versus formerly known as it's Isaiah Swerve Scott, which is Shane Strickland, versus Cameron Grimes, who used to be Trevor Lee. So that is going to be a match next week, and that should be fun. Ishida talks about him moving to NXT and how he's in an interesting position. He wonders who will stand in front of him and be his next opponent. He's here because the best in the world is here. Not really. Last week's Damian Priest talked to the media about his debut. They asked if there's just a sign of things to come. He stops them and says they haven't even seen anything yet, and the name Damian Priest will live forever. I think that was a really good promo. It was a short, sweet promo, but you believed what came out of Damian Priest's mouth. What came out, it's just like he's like, you haven't even seen anything yet, and unlike most of these people around here, Damian Priest will live forever. Name Damian Priest will live forever. And he just walks off. So I think there's big things coming for Damian Priest. We'll have to find out as we go on. I didn't read the spoilers. I don't know if we see him again in these tapings, but it would not surprise me if on the second set of tapings we have for this show, which was on Thursday or Friday 2 weeks ago. Oh, I'm sorry, Wednesday or Thursday 2 weeks ago. It wouldn't surprise me if he was in the Thursday set of tapings. See here. Street Profits versus the Forgotten Sons. Before they get things going, Dawkins Board on the mic say the Forgotten Sons think they can step up to the champs. They say that this is for the titles, they think they could take them. But that's not the case. Dawkins says, well, why don't we put the titles on the line right now? Ford and Cutler get things started. So it was never made official a tag team title match, so I'm just going to say it was a non-title match. Ford and Cutler gets things started. Ford stomps in the corner, continues to hammer away as Blake gets tagged in. Double neckbreaker, cover 2. Ford is able to roll away from his opponents. Dawkins tags in. He gives the work from both guys. Clothesline on Cutler. Exploder suplexes on both wrestlers. Spinning frog splash on both opponents. Spinebuster. Ford with a huge frog splash cover. Jackson Riker yanks Ford out of the ring. Referee calls for the bell. And that is that. The Street Profits win a quick match by disqualification. I don't think this is the last we're going to see the Street Profits and the Forgotten Sons. I would not mind to see with him being barricaded, Jackson Riker being barred from ringside, the Forgotten Sons versus the Street Profits at TakeOver Toronto, but I think that is hard for the Undisputed Era. Post match, Forgotten Sons beat up the champs. Riker with a double axe handle on Dawkins. Only Lorcan and Danny Burch came out of the ring and fight off the Forgotten Sons. I like the way they had them come down because you usually see when you have someone coming out to help a babyface getting beat up, you'll have hit their music and have them come out. But here in NXT, they didn't do that. They just had these two run down there and just fight these guys off. It's to have that element of surprise. I really like that, and it's something you don't see usually on the main roster. See. And they clear out the ring while the Street Profits look out for the Forgotten Sons. Burch and Lorcan take a hold of the titles. Ford goes to take it, and Lorcan just pulls it away for a moment. Burch and Lorcan hand them back. Burch says, "These are yours, but remember, you owe us." As the music's playing, you see Dawkins holding his championship, looking down and going, okay, I got you. It was not announced that we're going to get a match between these two teams, but I would really like to see a match between these two teams. Backstage, Shayna Baszler and Io Shirai getting ready for the steel cage match later in the night. Earlier today, Aaliyah says she is beyond grateful to put Mia Yim in her place when the two face off in the ring. I really do not care about Aaliyah and Vanessa Bourne. They don't do anything for me. Keith Lee, Mr. Bask in his glory, taking on Nikos Rikos. I don't know what the fuck Nikos Rikos was wearing. He had like a shirt on, but this sleeve was missing, and it went all the way down to his pants, and then it was just really weird. A really weird combo. It was like this sleeve was missing, so the opposite leg was missing its stuff. It was just weird. Scott is very much behind Lee. They're doing the basking in glory. He's doing just have his head up, and he's doing his conductor. He's conducting the crowd. Rikos tries to put Lee's arms down. That does not make him happy. He backs up for a second, and he tries to chop Lee. Doesn't work. Lee with some double chops to the chest. Please, I will never take those. If you even paid me $1 million, I would not take a chop from Keith Lee. Keith Lee with a massive pounce. Like, this guy was dead. As soon as he got hit with that pounce, he was absolutely dead. Lee picks his opponent up, and his shoulder hits the limit breaker, which is the fireman's carry into the jackhammer for the 1, 2, 3. Just like that, Keith Lee was like, well, my day's done. You know, his bask in his glory thing. So, I want to see Keith Lee get into more competitive matches. I know he was gone for a bit due to injury, but aren't we past the jobbers for Keith Lee? I don't know. Adam Cole we show a video of Adam Cole on his way to Download Fest to defend his title. Cole says Gargano has no idea what it's like to travel like that he does. He's not a star like Cole. We see clips of Cole defending his title at Download Fest. The next week, Cole talks to Roderick Strong on the phone about going to a restaurant called Gargano's. I don't even know what the fuck we're going to be doing here, but it's a Adam Cole Championship Celebration tour. So we'll see what happens next week. Roderick Strong versus Tyler Breeze and Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Cameron Grimes in the first round of the Breakout tournament next week. So that is your two matches to look forward to next week. Another awesome thing I love about NXT is that they don't hardly ever do we go a week without them giving us a hype for next week. Next week, we're getting Tyler Breeze and Roderick Strong in a second match of this. Monday Night Raw, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, you hardly ever get anything that next week. Unless there's we're going to have 2 Fatal 4-Ways, and the winner of these matches next week are going to go against each other to get a number 1 contenders match. You don't get that half the time. It's like, well, the show's over. What's going to happen next week? I don't fucking know. What's going to happen on SmackDown? Okay, they told us that, but it's like we finished SmackDown. It's like, what's going to happen on SmackDown next week? I don't fucking know. They didn't tell us. Shayna Baszler versus Io Shirai steel cage match for the NXT Women's Championship. This is the first ever women's steel cage match in NXT history for the women. It's the first steel cage match for the women, I think, since Victoria and Lita back in the day. I don't remember the last time the crowd was split when a Shayna Baszler match comes out. They're usually pro whoever's in the ring against her. It was a Dakota Kai, a Candice LeRae, a Kairi Sane, and Io Shirai until tonight. It's usually all pro the babyface. But now, tonight, they were split. Barely split. Io Shirai and Shayna Baszler fans. Shirai charges in but gets caught. Oh yeah, another nice attention to detail for Shayna Baszler. She is a former MMA fighter. So she comes out, we're in a cage, and she's got the MMA gloves on. She's about ready to go in there and teach Io Shirai a lesson. So she comes out wearing the MMA gloves, and she has them on the entire match. There's not a point in the match where she's like, you know what, the gloves are off, I'm coming to whip this woman's ass. That never happens, but she does come in. Shirai charges right in, but gets caught with a bunch of strikes by Baszler. Shirai gets sent towards the cage, blocked it. Back and forth counters lead to Baszler stretches Shirai out on the stomp and then stomping her on the back. Baszler looks to walk out. Shirai trips her and lands a kick. Shirai with a drop kick, kip up, and falls down for a moment because she's feeling effective the abuse she's already taken from Shayna Baszler. He pops back up and hits a palm strike. Shirai begins climbing the cage. Baszler brings her down and sends her face first into the cage. And when I mean face first into the cage, they have the dividers, which are the two where they split. She threw her face first, not into the steel mat. She threw her face first into that divider between both the two chain link sections. I was like, that one had to hurt more than anything else she took in this match because she went face first into it. One more time, but this time she goes back first. Baszler cranks Shirai's neck, sending her into the cage once again. Kick to the back, cover 2. Shirai with an inside cradle, 2 count. Baszler up again and sends Shirai into the cage. Baszler shoving Shirai into the cage. Punch to the midsection. Baszler looks to walk out but decides to beat up Shirai some more. Wants to add insult to injury and just brutalize her opponent as much as she can. Cover 2 count. Baszler tries to send Shirai into the cage again, but no luck. Baszler goes into it and Shirai hits a 2 drop kick, sending the champ into the cage both times. Double knees to the back and Baszler German suplex into a bridge for a 2 count. Double knees in the corner on Baszler. Shirai heads to the top rope, then goes up top to the cage. Baszler chases her after he brings her back to the top rope. Baszler looks to choke Shirai out. Up there, Shirai gets dumped down to the mat. Shirai is able to get back up and hit a German suplex on Baszler's off the top rope. Shirai heads out to the door as the referee opens it, but Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir run down and hold the referee against the door, so Shirai can't get out. The door ends up getting kicked, sending the ref and the 2 other horsewomen down. I think this is the first time the female referee actually took a bump in WWE as a referee because she was the one at the door while the horsewomen were trying to stop were distracting her. So I believe that is her first bump. So on TV. So there you go. Shirai locks the door as Shafir looks to get out. Shirai looks to get out. Shirai climbs the cage and meets Shafir up the top, but Candice LeRae runs down, sending Duke to inside the cage, into the side of the cage, climbs up and kicks Shafir off the cage. That is the end of Shafir for this match. Duke opens the door, goes up and tries to pull Baszler out through the door. Candice LeRae with a big crossbody off the cage down onto Duke. She is done. Shirai gets up top of the cage and hits a moonsault onto Baszler. Both are down, now crawling towards the open door. Both are stopping each other from advancing. Shirai is nearly out, and Baszler just barely gets her foot. Baszler tries to choke Shirai out. Shirai fights her off. She locks in again. Shirai is fading, but she takes the door and slams it into Baszler's head over and over and over. And unfortunately, because of this, in the position Shayna Baszler was in, she falls forward out of the cage, and she retains in what was the match. The better of the 2 cage matches, in my opinion. Yes, the way that Kofi won his title, he won the match on Sunday, was innovative, was different, but this match beat that match by a country mile. This match was fucking fantastic. Nobody who does this could just justify, you gotta watch this match. Post-match is the biggest talking point of this show. The horsewomen head out. Larae picks up Shirai, and Shirai just levels her and just stomps at her, hits her a couple times, and then she looks and she's like, oh, and she's like, no, and just he looks like she's like, oh my god, what the hell did I? It's just like it's interpreted as like, what the hell did I do? I just beat up my friend. I'm gonna go. I'll talk to her later, but that's not it. Shirai gets out of the cage, just sits there for a second, gets under the ring, pulls a steel chair out, throws it into the ring, hits Larae in the midsection, then just smashes her over the back over and over again. Shirai sets up the chair in the middle of the ring, yells at Larae in Japanese, then hits a brain buster over the chair. Crowd is stunned, booing Shirai. She heads up to Rant and says, I don't need friends. Taunts the crowd. I have no idea what the fuck she said because she said it all in Japanese. She's doing the and heads to the back. Io Shirai, heel. Big question coming out of this is now, where do we go from here? This tells me that Shayna Baszler's time on top is coming to an end. Would not pull the trigger to have Io Shirai turn heel if you're going to keep Shayna Baszler around much longer. I don't know who she's facing at TakeOver Toronto, but I have a feeling, and I know we say this every single time. I know we say this every time. TakeOver Toronto 2 is probably Shayna Baszler's last TakeOver. I don't know who she's facing. We'll find out in the next 5 weeks, or 6 weeks. Next 6 weeks. But whoever she's facing, she's losing the title to, and then whoever she's facing is probably I don't know who it's going to be. It's not going to be Io. It's not going to be Candice. I have a feeling whoever beats her for the championship is going to be a transitional champion, getting that title onto Io Shirai, and then Candice LeRae is going to chase Io for that championship, and that is going to be your TakeOver War Games women's match, is Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae for the NXT Women's Championship. But who is Shayna Baszler going to face? They're putting a lot of stock in the Mia Yim now. They put a video package out for her last week. They have been focusing on her a lot more. It would not surprise me if Mia Yim would be the one to take the title off of Shayna Baszler. Is that the ideal person that everyone wants to see Shayna Baszler lose the title to? Hell no. There are probably a lot of people out there who would probably throw a parade if Mia Yim won. But I'm sure a lot of people would expect Bianca Belair, Candice LeRae, Io herself. But no. The way they're portraying and they're working with Mia Yim, it feels like that's the way they're going. If it's Mia Yim, I won't be mad about it, but I don't think she's going to hold the title more than, she'll lose the title before we get to TakeOver War Games. She's not going to be a champion for very long. She would definitely be she'll be the transitional champion for NXT going into War Games, and then Candice LeRae will be challenging Io Shirai at NXT TakeOver War Games 3. That's my prediction there, is that if it's Mia Yim, she is going to win the championship from Shayna Baszler by hook or by crook or whatever they do. And then between August and November, somewhere in that time, she'll lose the title to Io, and then Io and Candice will have their feud continue going into NXT TakeOver War Games with Candice LeRae and Io Shirai in a Falls Count Anywhere, last woman standing. I don't care what the match is. They will have a damn good match, and they will probably beat the hell out of each other. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. What you think. Who's going to win that match? Who's going to be the one to take the title off of Shayna Baszler? With the fact that Io Shirai just turned to the dark side, who is going to take the title off of Shayna Baszler? Because her time is definitely coming to an end. She's here, and Io was here, but Io just turned heel, so she's going to be about here. She's going to go about here. But you're not going to take the title off of Shayna Baszler and give it to heel Io Shirai. You got to have that transitional babyface. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitch and Twitter at The France Club. Make sure to go hit that. Let me know who you thought was the better cage match on my Twitter page. It is the pinned comment. It is the pinned tweet. And let me know who you think. Yes, is it Kofi and Dolph Ziggler or Io Shirai and Shayna Baszler? I know the answer. You should too. But I'll see you guys Saturday for Unscripted. Then Saturday night for Fyter Fest. I'm not doing predictions for Fyter Fest. Just not going to do predictions for Fyter Fest. It's just one of those things that there's so much going on recently. It's like I'm just going to skip the predictions and just do a review. So then, my name is France, and I'll see you guys later.